The preposition chez is flexible. It refers to the place where one resides, oftentimes actually someone's literal home, but it can also mean a place of business or some other place that's conceived of as in this manner, perhaps metaphorically. I could, for example, if I was talking to someone on campus, talk about my office as chez moi, and everyone would recognize I was being metaphorical in that regard. Here's an example that's a literal example from 2 John. Si quelqu'un vient à vous et vous apporte un autre enseignement, ne le recevez pas chez vous et refusez même de le saluer. If someone comes to you and brings you another teaching, do not receive him into your home. Chez vous here refers to the place of residence. And so in the context of these itinerant preachers, it literally means into your house, into the place where you abide. And then it continues, and refuse even to greet them. Prepositional modifiers are sometimes a little challenging in French, but if you think about it from the standpoint of English, we have some similar problems. As in English, prepositional phrases can be used as modifiers, and these often cannot be translated literally. Une voiture de sport, it is literally a car of sport, but you know the idea, we would say a sports car. Un verre à champagne, literally a glass to champagne. However, you understand the point is, à champagne is describing the glass, a champagne glass. Un sac à dos, literally a sack to the back, but we understand that it's describing a sack that is worn on the back, located on the back, so we would call it a backpack. The key is to read these modifiers as a whole, and then to understand the logical connection between the two nouns. Usually the context will help you a fair bit on this. Chapter 21 in our text is simply a review of que. Que has many functions, and it will really test your ability to read the context. It's probably one of the most functional words in French. It can be used as a pronoun, both interrogative and relative. Que penses-tu? What do you think? What are you thinking? Ce cours que nous suivons est formidable. This course which we are taking is wonderful. Que is often used as a conjunction and can indicate content. This is where it would be translated as that. Je pense que ce cours soit formidable. I think that this course is wonderful. Notice that the subjunctive is used in the dependent clause because we are indicating an opinion. Que by itself can be used in the place of a compound conjunction. Que can be resumptive, anaphoric, for example, and refer to a simple conjunction already mentioned in the context. For example, vous vous appliquerez à obéir à tous les commandements que je vous donne aujourd'hui, afin que vous viviez, que vous deveniez nombreux, et que vous puissiez entrer dans le pays que l'Éternel a promis par serment à vos ancêtres et en prendre possession. You will apply yourselves. Think of this as an imperatival future. You will apply yourself to obey all the commandments that I am giving you today, so that, indicating result, you might live, subjunctive after afin que. The next que is resuming afin que. It is repeating it without repeating it in its entirety. So you could continue with so that, with the result that, you might become numerous, and so that, with the result that, you might be able to enter into the country which the Lord has promised by oath to your ancestors and take possession of it. Que, as you know, is used in comparisons. Que can indicate an alternative, translated by whether. For example, que tu réussisses à l'examen ou que tu l'échoues, tu as bien appris. Whether you pass the exam or whether you fail it, you have learned well. You'll notice that the subjunctive is used here because we don't have an actuality, we have a contingency, we have a choice, and so that's a step removed, and French will use the subjunctive in that instance. Remember that que plus the third person subjunctive equals the third person imperative. Let him do such and such, or he must do such and such. Que can introduce an exclamation. That's fairly rare. In that instance, it really doesn't have a translation value except to note that you have an exclamation. Que can simply intensify. That's quite rare. And que can indicate an exception in a verb limitation. That's actually quite common, and you've seen that many times already. Que can be used to mean why. Context will help in these particular instances to indicate that's the meaning intended. Usually the word why is translated with pourquoi. Que is used in expressions of time, and que is used in certain indefinite expressions like quoique, quelqu'un, que, etc., adding an additional point of emphasis to that expression.